I've been reflecting over who I've been inviting to my podcast, and there seems to be a bit of a trend. I meet them for a moment in time and we go deep and I invite them, or I'm touched by their story that I've seen them on stage or something like that. Kristy, I met 2 years ago, I think, at Adobe Max in LA, and it was a very brief encounter, but it was memorable for me. And since then, I've just been watching your journey and chit-chatting here and there, not seen you in real life because you are on the other side of the world. But I'm so happy to have you here to have this chat. Welcome, Kristy, to the Creative Flight. I would love for you to introduce yourself to the world.
Sure thing. Thank you so much, Ivy, and thank you for having me on. Yes, we did meet in Adobe Max a couple of years ago, which I'm sure we'll get into this. And I had an emotional little moment about a couple of minutes into our conversation, so we can definitely talk about that. But yes, so I'm Kristy Campbell. I'm the founder of Pink Pony Creative. I describe myself as a visual identity designer, an international speaker, and a creative cowgirl. I've owned Pink Pony for 5 years now. I've got a team of amazing girls who keep the business going, and I've actually just had my first baby. So I'm 4 months on maternity leave, but I am coming back into a bit of work now. So I'm just trying to find that juggle. But I am so proud of everything I've done with Pink Pony, and to be honest, I can't wait to get back into business a little bit more.
It just looks like such an enjoyable journey. Whenever I see any of your reels or any of the content, like it just looks like it's really positive, high energy. What is it really like behind the scenes?
Oh, I love that. It's definitely positive, high energy. I feel like that is me as a person as well. But I mean, like it's very different at the moment because I've just had a baby, 4 months in. And so like things have changed quite drastically in a way over the last 4 months because of this. I've had to really tighten up my systems before having a baby, bringing like the right people in at the right time. And I've pretty much got someone else managing the team at the moment, who she does many things. She's my accounts manager, my project manager, and she's also my sister, which is a great mix. But behind the scenes, I would describe it as, I would say I love everything we do, the work we create, the brand I've built. But every day I still feel this imposter syndrome. I still feel this thing in my head saying, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But I just bite the bullet and do it anyway. And I think that's what I've learned over these 5 years is I seem to be quite good at that. I'm getting even better at it. Just feeling those thoughts of, do I deserve this? Am I good enough? But just going ahead and doing it all anyway. So whatever you see online, just know that there's probably been some thoughts behind that, thinking, oh, should I post this or should I share this? Or am I good enough to be doing this? Every time I go on that Adobe Max stage, there's definitely thoughts of, I don't deserve to be up here, but I just go ahead and do it anyway.
I think it's really refreshing for people to hear that side because they see the success, they see the good energy. And you do also share, like, it's not, you don't always just share the one thing. I have also seen like the transparent side of like the lows as well, or like the vulnerable moments, which I really appreciate. But hearing it from you, because I know, like even just today in the coaching calls that I did, I know that this question comes up all the time, the imposter syndrome. Why am I not confident enough? Why am I hesitating? All of those things come up so often to pretty much everyone, but we don't always see it. So just you saying it, I think it means a lot to a lot of people. Look, I haven't said congratulations for having a baby. I feel like I should say that.
Thank
but
you.
I have congratulated in private, just not publicly.
Yes.
Yeah. It's actually the one of the talks that we had in person was around this topic, actually. I don't know if you recall.
Yeah. I do, yes. Yeah.
Do you remember the conversation? Do you want to share it?
From what I remember, because me and Ivy met, and I think someone told me that I should meet Ivy. It might have even been Chris Toe or someone, I can't quite remember who it was, but they put us in touch. I came in.
Mario.
Maybe it
was.
Maybe it was. I can't quite remember.
I was with Mario.
But yeah, we came and we met and we started chatting and we got really deep really fast. And one of the conversations was around me at that time, I would have been 29, pushing 30 potentially. And knew I wanted to have a family, but the whole idea really intimidated me. And I remember talking to you about it. And you said to me, look, you're a mother. And you said, I would have, coming from you, would have got far further in my career if I wasn't a mother. But I don't take it back at all. That's something that you love and you do. And I remember having that chat. But I mean, this is what I remember. So I don't know if I'm, what I'm curious, what do you remember?
I don't remember saying that, but it tracks.
Yeah.
I remember hearing the question because I think you were like, I know I want to have family. And I don't remember much about what I said. I do remember, I know I want to have family. I have my business. I want to be able to do both. And the balance and the questions that were arising of how do I get to the point where I can be present with the family and the business. That's what I remember. Are we remembering the same thing?
Yes, this is very much it. Yeah. And I think I was really scared and nervous. The whole idea really intimidated me. Like, how does one even do it? Because at that time I had a couple of team members. My team's not big now at any sorts, but there's 8 of us all together now. So it's definitely growing. And I remember even talking about pricing with you and I was probably not pricing it where I should have been and things like that. But yeah, the whole thought of motherhood really intimidated me with a business. But even like 4 months in, yeah, it's a juggle. Like everyone says, it's a big juggle, but you can do it. But it's just, you have to have realistic expectations of what can be done and achieved in one day and what can't. But I think one of the biggest things that I've did do in order to be here with my business still running is actually letting go of perfection and being okay with, my team members stepping up and doing things. And although maybe I might look at it and think, oh, it's not quite how I would have done it, but realizing that there is other alternatives for doing things. And sometimes someone else's alternative is actually better than yours as well, even as the founder. So yeah, it's letting go of expectations has helped me wildly through this whole process.
I have a question. Did you let go of the expectations or the perfection, I want to say, because you mentioned perfection first, before the baby or after the baby?
I think I actually let go of perfection a while ago. And I think I did.
Nice.
I did that when I started bringing on a team, because to be honest, like, yes, I want to aim for perfection when it comes to our work. I want to do the best job possible and really make our clients happy. Like, that's all I want at the end of the day. But you have to, like, letting go of perfection, especially when you bring on people, is something you kind of have to do, especially as a creative, because again, thinking about there's so many different avenues to a design solution. Any designer could look at any logo, I swear, and pick at it. And you've just got to understand that there's some kind of different roadmap to these different solutions. So I let go of perfection when I brought on even my very first team member. I think that's when I started letting go. And then that's allowed me to grow.
I remember, so I had a restaurant before I did coaching, and I've never really been a perfectionist. And I think for me, the other part of not being a perfectionist has been a little bit troublesome. So I accept that people won't do as good a job as me. I'm like, that's fine. Like, it's my business. I will always give it more than anybody else. And then, I know I can give the best service. I can cook the best food. I can do everything better than anybody else in my business. And then, not being present and hearing that someone might have complained at the restaurant, it would hurt. I'm like, oh no, you know what it's like in service. There's hundreds of people going through. Of course, someone will not be happy. At some point, it's impossible to make everyone happy at all times. But I always let go a little bit too quick. And I'm like, I give people autonomy. I think everyone's like me, where they want to do everything themselves and not have a manager. I'm like, here you go. Here's a problem. Solve it. And they're like, wait, what?
This is too much.
This is too much. And I'm like, oh, but don't you want freedom? Freedom is amazing. But so I think letting go too quick has been my problem. And I just need to kind of show them the ropes and let them know what the standard is before actually letting everything go. And it seems like we've kind of approached it coming to a happy medium, but from different angles, which is quite
Mm.
interesting.
I know what you mean as well. Like I said, when we put work out there, I don't let go of quality. I don't want people
Yeah.
to get that confused, because I think there's a fine line between you letting go of perfection, but also you don't want to let go of the quality of work. But
Yeah.
yeah, there is a point where, like you said as well, in a way, we are the founders. I am technically at this point the reason why people come to me or come to us as a
Yeah.
business, because I am the face of it. But now I feel like we are growing outside of that as well, and people are kind of knowing us as a
Hmm.
team and for our team's work. But yeah, it's that real fine line between perfection and still having that high quality work that
Yeah.
you want to deliver to your client.
I agree entirely. They're two very different things. Like
Mm,
perfection doesn't necessarily mean it will be quality. That's just your level of that's just you not letting go until you think it's perfect, but that doesn't necessarily have to be quality. Whereas
mm,
quality is a different standard. I don't know. I feel like it's a standard that is acceptable to the client and to yourself and doesn't have to stem from perfection. So I think that's a really nice point that you raised.
mm.
When I imagine that people look at you and kind of go like, wow, how did you build a team of eight? Like you've been going for 5 years, is that right?
Yes, yeah.
5 years. And, there's some people out there who have not been able to get to that point where they're growing the team. What do you think your secret sauce is? What do you think led to your success?
Ooh, a few things I could touch on here. I actually just did a post about this. But one of the biggest challenges that people face when they start a business is, yeah, where will I get my clients? How will I get my leads? Because that's the biggest issue, like, what if I don't get any clients? And I think when it comes to my journey, especially in the beginning, I had a real yes mindset, where I basically said yes to everything, every opportunity, every job. There was nothing that I wouldn't do. And although some people would, come back at that and say, you don't want to say yes to everything. And I understand that. Like, I don't want people to get a little bit confused there, because right now, 5 years in, there's definitely jobs we say no to. But at
Mhm.
first, building the network and my experience was far more important to me than being picky with the type of work that I would do. I wanted to get my name out there to whoever and wherever. So even if it's a small job, like say a sticker design or a business card, I said yes to it. Even if it was a job that the client had a low budget, I said yes to it, and that actually allowed me to branch out my network. Whether you enjoyed working with that person or not, it was more about the experience
Mm.
that came from it, the learnings. And then, even if you work with someone for a sticker design, you never know where that might take you. The perfect
Mm.
example of this is in my very first job that I had back in 2014, feels like a lifetime ago. I worked with a marketing manager there, and she was awesome. We had a great relationship. And then about 2 years ago, she got in touch with me and said, "Hey, look, Kristy, I've seen what you do with your business. I'm now a manager at a shopping center. I really want to bring you in as a design agency," all because of that connection years and years ago.
Yeah.
So building my network in those first few years was so important to me. So saying yes, I think, was a big reason I've been able to grow my team, because, like I said, the hardest thing is finding the work to be able to grow a team. So saying yes has really helped. Again, yeah, letting go of perfection, I think, has been a good one, and letting go of my ego, thinking that my
Mm.
solutions were the only thing that were going to work. Even now, with the designers that are on my team and stuff they present to me, yes, there's some times where I'm like, oh, I probably wouldn't have done that. But there's, you send that through to the client and they're just so in love with it. Obviously, there's certain instances where I would put my foot down and be like, look, I don't think we can send this. We need to adjust it. But yeah, it's just finding that middle ground, really. I'm trying to think of other certain key points that I feel have allowed me to grow a team. You know what I think is a simple thing that has really allowed me to also grow, when it comes to social media. I broke away my personal brand and my business brand, but I still had them connected in some way. So
Mm.
for Pink Pony Creative, as simple as we have an Instagram agency account for that business, And then I also have my personal brand, Kristy the Pink Pony. We share all of our work on Pink Pony Creative. And then my personal brand page is very much more educational. It's very much about my work too, way more stripped back. You see, the real side to the business and things. And that has also allowed me to grow in ways because of myself being the face of the business, having these speaking opportunities, etc. And then also growing the team. This is us as a team, Pink Pony Creative. I could talk about a few other things I'm sure that come to mind, but yeah, there's a couple of top tips.
I like the yes mindset. And I do think that it's such a crucial one. And regardless of how we look at it, if it's just saying yes to work or opportunities or challenges, but just having that openness. But not everyone is as brave. Was there ever a moment you're like, well, I just said yes to something? I mean, I know you've talked about having imposter syndrome, but like, is there one particular one you're like, oh shoot, what did I do? This yes was way too scary.
When I think about even Adobe Max and being invited that first year, I think 2022 was the very first year I spoke. And when I was invited, I had done no speaking experience. I had never spoken on a stage ever in my life, let alone in LA to 800 people. Like, the whole idea of it was wild that I even got asked. But of course, I'm a yes girl, and I was like, I would never miss this opportunity. I said yes, like, of course I'll be there, I'll do it. And although I had so much imposter syndrome, I had so much self-doubt. Why do I deserve this? I have never even public spoken in my life. I was the girl at school where you did your 3-minute speeches. I would go up on the, in the classroom. My face would turn bright red. I would stutter. I was so nervous and scared. And here I was going to LA to speak for Adobe in front of 800 people. It was wild to me. But I think, what comes with that is just being able to do that was practice. As simple as it is, just putting the time, the energy, and the effort into it, which allowed me to feel more confident when I went up on the stage. I think that would have been a big moment for me when I said yes. I mean, like, now we get these, thinking about the client side of things, we got jobs that come in, and I have a gut feel now, I just don't know about this. And to be honest, in the past, like, even year and a half, I've still said yes to these jobs, and my gut feel has proven me right. So now that I have more experience and I know what I'm doing, I need to listen to that gut feel and actually start saying no, because I know in my gut now from certain things, this might not be the best match for us as a business. And yeah, like I said, there's been instances, not many at all, but instances where it hasn't really played out the way that I'd hoped.
Do you know your human design?
Oh, no, I actually have no idea. Don't know it at all.
I asked Liz earlier today. I'll do it afterwards. And I forgot to do Liz's. I've had 4 podcast recordings today.
Oh,
it's been a really busy day for me.
Busy.
Yeah. No, the reason I asked is one of the decision authorities in human design is like a personality mapping tool, is the sacral, which is listening to your gut. And so instinctively, when you say, I need to listen to my gut or trust my gut instinct, I'm like, I wonder if she's a generator. Anyway, but we'll go into that another time.
Now. Yeah, I'm going to look it up.
Yeah. I mean, I can do it live for you if you want. Like, I can totally read your chart if you want.
Oh.
But it's up to you.
Oh.
Okay, so for me, it's on a small screen, so I'm just going to look at this screen for now.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm going to do your reading.
Okay,
and then
I'm excited about this.
You can decide whether you want to have it in or not. It's completely up to you.
Great.
Everything is recorded. Okay, so I'll just do a 5-minute thing. So you're a generator. A generator is 35% of the population, and you are here to do, to build, to respond. You are the doers of the world. So generators are 35% of the population. Then we have a second variety of personalities, which are called manifesting generators. They're also 35% of the population. 22% of the population is our projector. I'm a projectors. I'm a projector. 7 to 9%, depending on what stats or data you look at, are manifestors, and then 2% are reflectors. So they're the 5 major types. I'm going to explain each one really, really quickly so you kind of see how they work together. Generators are and manifesting generators are similar, making up 70% of the population. They're the builders of the world. They're the doers. Their sacral is here, which is their life force energy, and they're able to just keep going and going and going. For generators, that means if you're doing what you love, you will deplete your energy and regenerate quite fast yourself. Whereas someone like myself, who doesn't have, so I'm a projector, doesn't have the sacral energy in my chart, or it's not defined as we call it in human design, I can do what I love, but I will deplete of energy quite quickly. So I ideally should work 4 hours a day. Whereas you and all the other generator types can work quite a lot. Manifesting generators are slightly different from generators, that they can do many different things. So generators have deep focus. That doesn't mean they're not multi-passionate. I think multi-passionate is a completely different thing. But like manifesting generators are the ones who hate niching, because they're like, I can't, like you will box me in, and then I won't be able to breathe, and then I won't be able to do this. I have to do it all. And the beauty of it is they can actually do it all. But the world isn't set up for that, because the world was built for do one thing, do it really well. That's just how society has worked. Projectors are here to guide, and manifestors are here to lead. So famous generator, Oprah Winfrey. If you think about her media company, she does one thing, she does it really, really well, and she's, huge. Manifesting generators tend to be creative. So Mick Jagger, he's a manifesting generator doing loads of things. Then we have the Obamas, they're projectors. Manifestors, they are, there's a bad example, but a really good example. A bad human, good example. Hitler is a manifester. So they have this ability to kind of just go, this is what I suggest for you. And everyone kind of goes like, okay, yes, I'll do that then. And then reflector, I don't have a good example of a reflector, but they're here to just mirror back the world. So for you, I see someone, do you see all these white parts here? Do you know the chakras?
No.
Okay. So you've got different chakras, they're energy centers around you.
Oh,
So
yes.
here
Yeah.
you've got your head, your ajna, so your head, your thoughts, your throat, your heart center, your emotional center, your root, and your spleen. All of these white areas, they're receiving energy from others. So you have a lot of potential of being conditioned and influenced by others. So one thing I would say to anyone's child I see like this is, ask yourself, is this thought mine or is this someone else's? Does this idea belong to me or is it someone else's? Do I want to say this or does someone else want to say this? Are these my feelings or do they belong to someone else? Is this someone else's problem or is it mine, essentially? So always just checking in. But what you do have is you have your sense of identity, your G center, and your sacral defined. You know who you are. So even though your thoughts and your communication, all of that may be influenced by others, and you get to decide if that's boundaried or not, because you have that power. But when it comes to who you are, I see someone who feels grounded in themselves. I'm like, I know who I am, and probably have felt like you know yourself for the longest time. So I have the opposite. I don't have this one defined. I feel like a chameleon. I can be with you whoever you need me to be. And that doesn't mean I'm not true to myself, but I'm able to kind of slot in to different roles. And then your sacral is your life force energy. So what's interesting in yours is that your profile line is 1, which means that I see someone who loves to dive deep and investigate. And for example, if this is interesting to you, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so interesting. You will then go and study it. You will then take notes, go like, oh no, I completely nerded out on this, if it lights you up. So everything is a big if. Like if your gut is saying, this brings me joy, this is a hell yes for me, it would be like you automatically will want to just dive deep. In your subconscious, you're an experimenter. So you may not be aware of it, but that's probably why you say yes to everything, in my opinion. I'm like, here's someone who's just like, oh, I'll try it. I'll try it.
Mm.
Because it's just in your genes to do it. It's like you're designed for this. You're designed to like, okay, give me the information. Sure, I'll do it. That's kind of like the with a 1-3. I
Mm.
can't annotate like I can. It says here the profile line. That's kind of what I see.
Mm.
But mainly from so the way I use human design is usually to kind of see how can I get to know someone really, really fast, and it kind of gives me gives me a personality blueprint. So for you, I see that in your subconscious, you are a really good persuader. You'll probably kill it at sales. And if you don't, you need to do it because you have it in you automatically to be really good at sales. And the way that I would liken it for those, do you feel like you're good at sales?
Funny, I don't feel like I'm good at sales. That's something I feel like I'm
Okay.
not. But everything else you've said, I very much align with. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yes, that's me. I feel like I know who I
Okay.
am, but I do get somewhat influenced by what others say. But I'm also like,
Mhm.
yeah, like all of the above. But that's the one thing I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not good at sales, but maybe
Let
I
me
am.
let me no, let me pivot the sales aspect a little bit. So when you're
Mm.
showing people, let's do you show concepts, different concepts to let
In
me
a
stop share.
way,
How do I say?
yes, yeah.
Mhm.
We show like creative direction concepts, you know.
Yes.
Mm.
And do you normally know which one they should go down, which route they should go down?
Typically, yes, yes,
You
yeah.
can sell that in really well. You can get your way in those, correct?
I would say not necessarily. I think maybe it's
Okay.
part, yeah, maybe it's part of the whole. Then when someone else has an idea, I might say, "Oh, I like this one. This is where we should go."
Hmm.
But then when the client says, "Oh no, but I like this one," then I'm like, "Oh,
Okay.
I could see that working too." Like that's
Okay.
how I feel like I would sit.
Okay.
Unless I'm very staunch about it. If I'm like, no, then I will really push them for something.
Yeah.
Mm.
Find moments in your life where you have gotten your way. It's in your subconscious, so it won't be anything that is a red line is a subconscious energy.
Mm.
You have a natural, like it is in you, and you just have to find it. Not everyone has this line in there. I have it in my subconscious and conscious,
Mm.
and uh, and I see it in myself because I'm like, oh yeah, I was told I was good at sales at the age of 20, and I was like, I hated it. Like, please don't tell me that I'm good at sales. That's such an insult. How dare you? And then, I got older and I'm like, oh, okay, it's not such a bad thing after all.
Mm.
But if you look at the patterns in your life, you might see that,
Mm.
oh, actually, there are moments where I'm able to persuade people because it's a persuasion tool, right? And
Mm.
I can get what I want out of this. And if you can tap into those moments, that's
Mm.
the energy you just need to channel into any other situation. I'm not asking you to manipulate anything, but
Mm.
like the energy that works, that's the one you want to channel in sales or in decision making
Right.
opportunities where you're like, I actually know this is the better option, and you guys are all making the wrong mistake. I know this,
Mm.
and
Mm.
therefore, how can you communicate that in a way which supports them? So that's kind of like what
Mm.
that energy says.
No, that's really interesting. I mean, the perfect, actually, like a good example maybe of this
Hmm.
is we had a client once, and I had the sales call with them. They were very excited. We sent through a proposal, and it wasn't quite what they expected. So we actually redid it free
Hmm.
of charge within, because we were already out of the budget. And I was like, I want to get this right. Send it through, and I was really happy with it. And they still weren't happy. And they said they were really disappointed because that first sales call, they were really excited about what I was saying and the opportunity. So I don't know if that was me being a good sales, you know, being good at sales
Mm.
and then coming through and them not being happy with or yeah, happy with the what was delivered to them. I don't know. That's just a thought, but potentially.
Oh, that's interesting.
Mm.
Oh, you know what I would do with that? If you have that sales call, if it's
Mm.
recorded, I would analyze it, especially now with AI. It's so easy to do. Like I would
Mm.
analyze what the conversation was. And if you have all the recordings, you can say like, did actually, because part of me is thinking, no, I don't think that is a sales thing. I think that's actually them not understanding what they were buying, or
Mm.
like there's an expectation mismatch there,
Mm.
or they're not communicating really well what they're needing, And so therefore it's hard to deliver on something when they're not clear. Automatically I'm going into, there's a communication problem. It's not so much anything
I
else. I
I
don't
do
know.
think the latter, what you've just said, would be bang on.
Yeah.
They in the end they said they couldn't even explain why they didn't like it. They had no
Yeah.
idea. But that's a classic in design as well. I don't know why I like it. I don't like it. I can't explain it, but I
Yeah.
just don't.
I I was a client of someone's and I learned something really powerful from them because I wasn't able to, and I said to them, I don't know how to give feedback on this because I'm not a specialist on this, which is why I'm hiring you. So it was copywriting. And I'm like, I'm not great at copywriting. I need someone who's amazing, but I cannot tell you whether your work is good or not. So you can show me it because I'd already spent a lot of money on copywriting. I'm like, every time people show it to me, I'm like, great. And so this was like my third or fourth round using a copywriter. And I just plain out told him, I don't know how to, I don't know how to give feedback. And I learned something from him, which I now teach all my clients, which is you need to set the criteria of how to give feedback. So he sat down with me and said, like, okay, these are what are the criteria that are important to you? And we co-created the criteria together. So I felt like I had ownership over it, but actually he gave the criteria. He's like, this is how we're going to look at the feedback. And that really helped the communication throughout. And when my clients come to me and they're saying to me that they don't like it, I'm like, yeah, but have you given them the criteria of how to mark what is good and what is bad? And that has been a game changer for my clients as well. Do you do anything similar?
I would say we do it on a very basic level. So, at the end of
Hmm.
our proposals, we do have a bit of a guide sheet about how to give feedback, but it's very
Okay.
basic. And I wouldn't say it's tailored to each client specifically.
Yeah.
It's just more of an overview how to give feedback. This is what you should do, and this is what you should not say. A
Yeah.
rough feedback is I don't like it, but I don't know why. But instead, could you say I don't like it because I feel the color green doesn't work with
Mm.
who I want to be as a brand. That would be a good bit of feedback. But I think we could probably we could most definitely improve that and actually
Yeah.
tailor it more to each client specifically.
So I think the feedback would change slightly. So the feedback criteria would be, does this resonate with your ideal client?
Yes,
So
yeah.
so that they can think differently about the the feedback that they're giving. So does this resonate with the ideal client? Um, you mentioned you wanted to seem luxury. What does luxury look like to you? Does this fit the criteria that we does this fit the criteria that way? Because I think people forget that brief the brief might be great and they've given a brief and then suddenly the client just goes into the whole emotion go like, oh yeah, this doesn't feel good. I'm like, no,
Mm,
feeling good isn't the brief. The brief
mm,
is something completely different. And the clients forget and they will always kind of need reminding. I don't know if you find the same
no,
with the experience you've had.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, clients, again, design is so based on your own opinion. So, of course, when
Mhm.
someone is presented something, their immediate thought is, do I like it? But actually, what it should be is, yeah, will my target audience like it? Is this what is supposed to be created to fit within that brief? But yeah, every
Yeah,
client does it. Every client will receive a package and immediately think, yeah, do I like it? But at the end of the day, are they
yeah,
actually the target market?
yeah, yeah. And I think that's what really helped me
Mm.
when I was a client to the copywriter, because I just literally had the list and like, okay, I'm reading
Yeah.
and does it fit? Does it fit? It was a lot easier for me. Yeah. So is there something in particular? I'm switching subject, by the way.
No, let's
Is
go.
there
I love
something?
the
Yeah.
so many subjects. It's great.
Is there something in particular right now you're obsessing about? And you're not allowed to say your child.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, this is a good
Mhm.
one. Very topical. I would say I'm obsessing about this in the wrong way. So I am somewhat obsessed by the idea that I'm going to lose relevancy because I'm not posting new work all the time on social media. And I have this like fear of irrelevancy through this time. I love being a mum. I love being a mum to Boston. I love this new chapter already. But there's part of me that's so scared to lose the momentum that I've had in the last
Yeah.
5 years, because I will, of course, it's only natural. So I'm obsessed with the idea of losing relevancy, I think, because I don't want to lose everything I've built up towards. You know, as simple as
Hmm.
Adobe Max is a good example. I was invited back again to speak. And of course I said yes. I love speaking at Adobe Max. It's like one of my
Yeah.
favorite things to do. But the, you know, part of me was like, do I want to say no only because, you know, it's my first year of being a mum? Am I going to pull away some time from being with my son? But again, a little birdie in my head was like, do it because you don't want to lose relevancy. Of course I love it, which is the main reason why I do it, but that's also something
Yeah.
that comes to mind.
That's interesting. What is
Yes.
relevancy for you?
I would say relevancy for me, and it's hard not to put it in the vanity metrics on social media because we all get so thrown by
Yeah.
that. And at the end of the day, doesn't matter. No. But part of me feels if I lose that momentum of, you know, an audience,
Yes.
my irrelevancy will lower because people aren't talking about Pink Pony or myself as a personal brand and
Hmm.
a designer. Um, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make
Mm,
sense. Absolutely. And thank you for being so vulnerable and open about it because I don't think people would have expected it. I didn't
mm.
expect it, so I can't
Yeah.
speak for people.
I think that's something that plays on my mind a lot at the moment. Again, it's
Yeah,
not dragging me down. I'm not crying at night
no,
about this, you know, but it's something that I
but it's
feel like,
there.
yeah, and I feel like I actually am a weirdly obsessed with it in the way of I need to
Mhm.
just relax a bit and take,
Yeah.
you know, take a breather. Really, I do really, I am in the moment with my son and living in this present time. But yeah, when I think about
Hmm.
work, that's definitely something I have a odd fear of when it comes to, yeah, it's a real fight of
Yeah.
don't worry about it, Kristy, which I, part of me, like I go in waves throughout the day. It's all good, you know, like I'm enjoying this time. And then part of me is like, oh, but my content's not what it was. I'm not sharing new work. I'm not designing at the moment. I'm going to be not as creatively charged. All those thoughts.
Can I offer some thought on the new content or new work thing?
Yes, go for it.
Just recycle old work because people forget. Like they have a
Yeah.
memory of a goldfish.
Yes, and I
They
have
wouldn't
been.
even know.
Yeah, I've been reposting for the last, I think, four or 5 months, and I've only shared probably
Brilliant.
like 5 new posts in that time.
Yeah.
And it has helped, obviously. That really does help. But yeah, and like in my mind, I'm like, oh, the content's not what it was, and it's not as good as it was. Yeah, it's a.
It's funny you say that because it actually is what it was.
Oh
Because you're
yeah, that's
reposting.
so true. Because it's repost. It's literally everything it was. You're so right. Like I'm getting bored of
Okay.
my own content, you know, and I'm like, oh, it's so
Yeah.
boring. But it's probably because I know that I've seen it a million times.
Hmm. Yes. Not everyone else has. They're like,
Mm.
"Oh, this. Oh, I'm so glad I see this again." I'm
Yeah,
certain of it.
yeah.
And if they notice, well done them. Like really well done
Mm.
them because then they're hardcore fans and we like them.
It's true. It's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah, I think as
Yeah.
well, like this.
Affirmative points.
Yeah, this like idea of like irrelevancy, like losing it. I think I
Yeah.
have a fear of it as well. Like if I lose my irrelevancy, I'm going to lose momentum in my business to be able to support my clients, to be able to
Yeah.
support my staff, to be able to support my
Yes.
lifestyle. So
Yeah.
that's also a big one because I think I do feel a lot of pressure that the leads solely come through me as the personal brand, which I am sure that they don't. Like it's not. It's also Pink Pony Creative now as an agency. Um,
Yeah.
that is something that I obsess over as well.
Yeah. You know, when you grew your agency, at what point did you feel like, oh, now I'm responsible for all these people? Because that's kind of like the relevancy is tied to this like feeling
Mm,
of responsibility, right? At what point did that hit
yes.
you?
You know when it was probably the year I met you at Adobe Max.
Okay.
I remember I had done my sessions when I'd met you, and I think you know there's such a build up to something like that. You know, you're building up, you're building up, you're building up, you go 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 go, and then once I'd finished them, I could kind of take a breather and be like, oh, you know, have a bit of a relaxed moment. But I knew
Yeah.
that when I came back to New Zealand, I had had a senior designer start and a junior designer start in that
Yeah.
like same couple of weeks. And I think we did speak about this.
Yes, I do recall now.
And I was feeling a lot of pressure. And I think when that happened, when I came back to New Zealand, I did feel this really big, oh wow, like now I'm paying for a senior designer, which is quite a
Mhm.
large, a larger wage. They both of them, the senior and junior designer, had moved cities to
Mm.
start working for Pink Pony, and that felt like a really big weight on my shoulder. Now these people have
Yeah,
moved their life to work for me. I can't let this fail. Like I have to
yeah,
support them. So that was I think when I realized I'm not just we're not just doing fun work. Hey, like cool colors, cool pink pony. It's like
yeah,
multiple people's lifestyle that I am now funding at the end of the day.
yeah. But also, how cool is that? So
Yeah, it's
yes, it's
amazing.
scary,
Mm.
but like when I when it dawned on me, I can't remember exactly when it dawned on me, but I know that I transitioned the perspective to like, I'm a creator of jobs. Like
Mm.
I provide, like not, I don't provide, but like
Yeah.
my business makes it possible for people to come to London and live,
Mm.
and I was like, oh, that's quite cool. Like I'm essential in the ecosystem of the world right now.
Yes,
I thought that
yeah.
was really cool.
It is. It's
Yeah.
like a mixed feeling of you're like, oh
Yes.
wow, this is quite scary, but also how fucking cool is this? I never thought
Yeah.
I'd be able to support these people in the way that I am, and also probably like support them in terms of them loving what they do. They love the work
Yeah.
at Pink Pony, and I know that because they tell me. So
Yeah.
that's freaking awesome to be able to give people the job and the work that they just love doing.
Yeah. Which kind of brings me to culture because you've built a beautiful culture within your well, that's what it seems like. It seems like you've built a beautiful culture in your agency.
Yeah.
Is it with intent? Like we're going to build a culture, we've done the strategy, we know what we're going to do, or is it accidental?
I think I'll be transparent. I think
Hmm.
I'm the type of person, well, actually, I know I'm the type of person. Because people have told me as well. Like, I would describe myself as warm, bubbly. I just want
Yeah,
everyone to have a
you
good
are.
time. And I want everyone to enjoy life. I don't want anyone to feel left out. I don't want anyone to, dislike what they do. So I think
Yeah.
just the way that I am personally has allowed me to build that culture within the business. I didn't do it strategically. I think I've just
Mhm.
done it. And, building a team is hard and it's come with some challenges, of course. You're not going to have a
Of
team
course.
without challenges. That's just unrealistic. But overall, I would say, yeah, the team are very happy. They love what they do. I know I do my best to make them feel comfortable, like they can ask any question. I
Mhm.
actually don't know when this will come out, but I think it will probably come out once my team know this. I'm now able to. I just invited one of my lead designer, her name's Gabby, to come with me to Adobe Max, and we're going to pay for her
Amazing.
trip. She's going to come to Adobe Max, which
Amazing.
is an insane thing that I never thought I'd be able to provide someone. And she was just so
Hmm.
over the moon to be able to like be like, oh, she was like, Kristy, this is too much. Like this is wild. So like I wanted to build this team of people where they could feel like they could reach for the stars and like create whatever is possible.
I
I'm
love
sure
that.
it's hard to it's one of those things, and maybe I'm doubting myself here, but I like to say that I'm pretty sure the team love what they do and they love the environment, but nothing's perfect as well.
I I would imagine that if you have such confidence in saying that, it would be true because otherwise you
Mm.
would be like, yeah, like I feel like there'll be a completely different attitude.
Yeah.
When they feed back to you, that's their opportunity to speak up.
Mm.
And if they're not speaking up, then it's on them.
Yeah, no,
Especially if
exactly.
you create an environment where it's possible to kind of talk um and be part of it together. So I'm Swedish, which means that
Hmm.
we have very little hierarchy in I'm half Swedish, half Pakistani. But
Love
like the
that.
Swedish part of me is very much like um everyone is equal.
Hmm.
There's
Hmm.
no hierarchy. And I know that there's hierarchy in businesses, but we have a very everyone can decide. So in my
Mm.
business, I always involve people in the decision making, which can be annoying for some who are just like, no, I'm not in that. I don't employ those people. But like other people in other businesses would be like, no, I just come here to clock in and clock out. That obviously doesn't happen with people I employ. But like, what's your leadership style? How do you get everyone involved in the decision making and the direction of the business?
I mean, like for Pink Pony, I only did this because that's how I have gone throughout my career. I
Hmm.
know agencies that don't, there's a team of designers and they're all designers, but we have a junior designer, an intermediate designer, a senior designer, a lead designer. Well, now we have a couple of intermediate designers. So there is that hierarchy there.
Yeah.
And again, I started doing that because that's just all I knew. But I do
Yes.
like that there is some hierarchy to it. So people know who to ask when they,
Yeah.
come to a problem that maybe they don't know the answer to, especially with myself going on maternity leave and, having a baby. I needed that point of the highest point, who is the lead designer that is at the end of the day, if there's some tough decisions, she is the one who's
Hmm.
going to make that final call, which essentially is the call that I probably would have made when I was fully in the business as well. And
Yeah.
there's still things she'll come to me for because she is like, well, this is over my head, but she does a great job at who's Gabby, who's coming to Adobe Max. She does a really good job at making those calls, and I think she's building the confidence now to be able to do that, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, that is seeing everyone's growth is it's so fulfilling actually
Mm,
from from a founder's perspective to actually be part of that journey as well, to watch them actually step into the different roles.
mm.
Have you actually had people progress in the agency as well? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for
Apart from, like,
sure.
you mentioned a few, but
Yeah, so Gabby was one. She's been with me the longest, like 3.5 years, I think, and another designer as well. And I mean, all of them, to be honest, like I want them all to feel that progression because it's important to feel like you are moving forward and not just I'm a designer here. Like when do I hit that the next level up? If that's all, like not that that's all they
yeah.
are because it's so important, but if we were all just labeled designers, I think they might struggle, like where they would all sit and how do they then get to that next level. um
Mhm.
I mean, it's something I don't think I actually don't think I'm the best leader in the world at all. Like I think that's a lot of self-doubt comes into when I'm thinking about the leadership thing. I feel like I'm really just seeing how it goes, just taking a stab in the dark half the time. But I mean, again, it's worked till now. So I'm like, something is
Yeah.
going right, obviously. So I just need to remember that.
Yeah, just trust it.
Mm,
Something
mm.
is going right, and just trust the past to tell
Yeah,
the future.
I like that. It's very inspirational.
Yeah. I can see the time is we're wrapping to a close, so
Mm, we are.
I don't want to open up a huge can of
We could
worms.
chat forever.
Yeah, although my endings tend to be really abrupt, I'm like, oh, it's an hour now. I need to wrap up.
Need to
I need to
stop.
get better at the podcasting. Do you have a podcast? I actually don't know.
I did, and I would it's still on Spotify. It's called The Social Ponies. It did have another
Mhm.
name, but I changed it. But the intention was to bring it back up. But you just get so busy. It wasn't on the
Yeah.
top priority list. So
Yeah.
I would love to bring it back one day, but again, it's just not the highest priority. So I've got to be
Yeah.
realistic these days.
I personally don't think that you are at risk of becoming irrelevant at all, by the way.
Oh, thanks, Ivy.
I think
I
you have a
really appreciate that.
very stable and like solid brand. Like it's
Thank
very
you.
visible and recognizable,
Oh,
like
good.
even my husband's like, oh, you're interviewing her today, and I
I
didn't
love
know
that.
that he knew who you were, and there you go. He's like, oh, can
I
you
love
ask her
it.
about how she gets leads? I'm like, sure, I can ask her about how she gets leads. Maybe I didn't
That's great.
overtly ask it, but like, how do you get leads?
Ooh, so many. I would say the primary way I get leads now, obviously, is social media,
Yeah.
and creating good content, which we could talk about forever. So that's another massive topic, but we won't go into it. But one
Yeah.
thing that's really helped me is buffer.com, which is just a scheduling system. And I just started scheduling literally the videos, the old videos, the reposts everywhere. So Instagram, YouTube, TikTok,
Yeah.
Pinterest. And then we also, that's for my Kristy the Pink Pony, my personal brand page. But then we also plaster all of our work across all of the above as well. So I'm not just on Instagram anymore, which is, I would say, the primary source of leads. But now we are just opening ourselves up to so many platforms, and which is just opening ourselves up to so many more new people.
Yeah.
So that is how we get most of our leads. And then, now because we've been going for 5 years, it's reoccurring clients. It's clients telling others that they've really enjoyed what we do. But that would be the main way. LinkedIn was a big game changer for me last year when I started just sharing all my old videos. I think I started sharing it around this time last year, and I just hit 100,000 followers on LinkedIn. Never thought I'd be a LinkedIn girly, but that changed my business because I did feel the lead slowing down a little bit and it was concerning me. And then when that happened, there was just this massive spike of new interest, which was amazing.
Nice. Are you open to talking about price?
Ooh, I'm torn about this, and you can keep this in. I'm torn. The only reason why I feel torn about it, to be honest, is because I have a team, and I do think part of me wonders their reactions to things. But I think I have spoken about money in the past, and I've had no reaction, so I don't know why I'm worried about it.
We leave it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Ivy.
So easy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so easy.
And I respect that. Are you okay with keeping this bit in?
Cool. Totally don't mind. Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I should just wrap it. This is a terrible, I remember when I started podcasting, I was really, really nervous because I'm like, it needs to be perfect. And I didn't enjoy it. My first 5 episodes, I didn't enjoy it. And then from then on, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be myself. And if people don't like it, screw them. I'm going to forget questions. And so you'll have noticed I didn't, and I know people might think that I'm mad for this, but I didn't study you before. I'm like, I know you. I know you good. How I know you. And then, of course, I'll read a little bit just because I don't want to just be a complete idiot and ask you stupid questions. I need to know something about you. But I'm like, no, I want this to be a discovery, because if it's a discovery, then it won't feel like an interview. It'll be like, oh yeah, what's that about? What, chit chat. Anyway, so I haven't mastered the art of the podcast.
No, you have. It's been very, I love podcasts that are just conversational and you go from one topic to the next. Like, those are my favorite because it feels so natural and like real. It feels like a good just chat.
Oh, I do have a question. Are you taking Boston to LA?
I am taking Boston to LA, but obviously, with Adobe Max, there's no kids that go to Adobe Max. So I'm taking an entourage, basically. No one under 18 is allowed in the conference center. I don't know if that's actually an Adobe Max rule or if it's just a conference center rule. Yeah, I know. And babies are different. Yeah, so Boston will be there, but just not on site at Adobe Max. So my husband's coming, my sister's coming, Gabby's coming, my parents are probably going to come just to make this all happen. So I'm taking a whole entourage of pink ponies, but it'll be awesome. I didn't expect to take a baby to LA at 8 months old, but here we are.
I can tell you the best advice from me is travel as much as you can during this baby time, because they're easier. Before they start crawling, oh yeah. Well, no, I shouldn't scare you. It depends on the child. But I'll tell you this: like the crawling stage is hard. You containing a baby that crawls on a plane, that's harder. Right now, no crawling. Just like here, we're good.
Yes, no, exactly. Yeah, so he'll be there. He'll be enjoying it. But no, I'm really excited. Are you going to go back this year?
Maybe
I might see you.
I'm a maybe. Like loads of people I know are going, inclusive of yourself, and it's always fun. Chris asked me he's like, "Oh, are you coming?" And not like, "Hey, you should come." More like, "Are you coming?" I'm like, "Well, I haven't decided yet." He's like, "Okay." And then I'm like, I should have asked him, "Do you have a ticket for me?" Really,
yeah, are you gonna take me? Yeah, is that you inviting me?
Exactly. Maybe if he hears this, no, he'll never do anything on a nudge. Okay. If people want to connect with you, maybe after your maternity leave, when you're back from maternity leave.
Well, that's the age-old question. I think it's just going to be a gradual progression. You know, I am working, I'm doing meetings, and
Yeah.
I'm taking Boston with me. He's done some pretty important meetings, and he's there, which is awesome. It feels very powerful and cool to be able
Yeah.
to do. But it's going to be like a natural progression. I think it won't be like a stark
Yeah.
no work and then all of a sudden work, which is, to be honest, such a blessing. You know, we can do as a creative, and what we do, you can do it anywhere at any time with just a laptop. So it's pretty cool to be able to have that flexibility. And but if people want to get in touch with me, I would say, if it's something really serious, if you know, a big opportunity, if it's client, email us, which you can do through inquiring on our website. But otherwise, my social media channel, Kristy the Pink Pony on Instagram, is probably the best way to connect. I've got to say that's one thing that I'm not good at is just managing the load of, like, which I feel so blessed for, like, you know, messages and notifications on all of these platforms. And
Yeah.
so it's a bit crazy, really. And my sister says, Kristy, you have to learn to reply to people. You're terrible.
It's hard though when you have a high volume of DMs, and
Yeah.
otherwise you're just sitting on the DMs all day just responding. And I don't know. I think I do respond. I'm a quick responder, but my family doesn't like it. It's like, why are you doing that? I'm like, because if I don't do it now, I feel
I'm never
like
going to do it.
I'll never do it. And then,
Mm.
it'll go, and I'm like, oh, there is a message, like 100 down that I haven't dealt with. And it was a lead, and I'm like, oh no.
Again,
Yeah.
a blessing, a very big blessing to have that
Yes,
issue, no?
yes.
Mm.
It sounds like I'm complaining.
You same with
it
me,
is a
but I'm not. Definitely.
But so people can understand if it's slower, now you know why.
Yes, very much. I actually did there was so many that I just kind of ignored because it got to a point where I couldn't even contain it. So I just
Yeah.
let it all happen. And then I was like, I can't even figure this out anymore. I just unread them all and started fresh. Sorry,
Yeah.
everyone. They're going to, but it worked. So now I'm actually keeping up with it.
Do you use, I found a tool.
Oh,
Someone actually recommended this tool. Oh my gosh, I forgot to do something. I have just remembered with this tool. It's called Folk, Folk.
okay. I'm gonna look
And
this up.
because I've been wanting something that's not, you use ManyChat though, don't you?
I have in the past. I don't use it a lot, but
I stopped using it because I didn't like the idea of paying for people who are pitching me. Because I'm like, all these contacts, they're like, I've gone up to, in 2 weeks, I have like 1,000 contacts, new ones, of 50%, which are people pitching me. I'm like, no, I'm not paying for that. So I got a bit annoyed with ManyChat. ManyChat, if you're listening, please fix it. But Folk, you can have a Chrome, what's it called when you have a thingy, small thing? Chrome.
is it it's not like a bot, is it? Like a robot?
Not a bot, but like it shows up on your browser. What's it called? Like a extension.
Like an extension. Yeah.
Yes. You can have a Chrome extension, and then when you're on Instagram and someone is messaging you, you can, if it's a lead, if it's something that's important, you can put it in Folk, and it will just pull in all the information, and you can manage. So you know how things get lost on Instagram? For me, they get lost on Instagram all the time. If it is a lead, you can pull it into your CRM, which is Folk, which not many of them actually connect with Instagram. And then you can just manage the Instagram leads and LinkedIn leads. It connects with both via
this one central...
one thing. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And yes.
Yeah. I'm like, I need this because it's the LinkedIn ones that just go a bit like cuckoo, to be honest. You're like, well, I can't even, what do I do here?
I'll send you the link on Instagram. Check my DM.
Oh, great. I will look at the DM.
Yeah. Kristy, it's been absolutely amazing chatting to you. I can talk to you for hours. So thank you for taking the time.
No,
because I know it's really
Ivy.
early for you.
No, it's not. It's good. It's good. No, thank you. I've loved chatting with you. It's been so lovely. And just to finally catch up after our half an hour chat 2 years ago.
Yeah. If you're ever in London, please do let me know. And then
we'll
see each other in real life. But maybe we'll see each other around the world in real life again.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Ivy.
Bye. That's it for today's episode of The Creative Flight. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I invite you to leave a review. It really helps more creators find the show. For more insights and behind the scenes content, you can follow me on Instagram or LinkedIn. You can also check out my resources on ivymalik.com. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Until then, keep creating, keep pushing those boundaries, and keep taking flight.